What's going on, Jeromes? Happy Saturday. Ooh, happy, was a back to football weekend, something like that. First open practice for the Vikings today. We got some Q&A. Let's hammer this out. Westworld, not a question, but your Q&A and overall channel really helped me get through the COVID lockdowns. It took my mind off of work, finances, and the bleak isolation that the world is facing at the time. Thanks again, Andy. Hey, thank you for coming along. It's, yeah, I mean, during the Rona, I mean, we had that's when we did the live stream daily. It's when we did a lot of Q&A, and I don't know, just as silly as football is sometimes, it was just good to let people know that there's still community, even though there's a lot of ish going on, and I'm glad that we could play a part of that. Mike Madill, just wondering if you know how some ex-Vikings we let go are doing on their new teams. Dancer, you got him. Duke Shelley on the Raiders. Kellen Mond's working with the Browns. I think you keep up the good fight. Don't really have anything per se, but I'm sure we'll. I mean, there's a lot of camps going on right now, but you know, maybe once we get to preseason, a couple of highlights here and there. Sure. Carson Puddle. Looking at Lewis Seen's tape again, the guy could thrive blitzing with Harrison Smith, Josh Patelis, Cam Bynum, and drafting G. Ward. Do you think having 5 safeties is the way to go, or do you think we put, or who do you put on the practice squad? I think they'll carry 5. I think this will be different than the Zimmer regime where they always carried 4, just because, I mean, the third safety is essentially a starter in the Flores defense, so keeping 5 makes sense. And also, even though you can protect players on the practice squad, they have to clear waivers first when you pare down from 53. And frankly, I don't think any of the 5, well, obviously not like Harrison, will get onto the practice squad. Zeke, I'm really high on Byron Murphy. Do you think he is borderline elite? And how good do you think he'll be this season? Love you, Andy. Love you too. So, Byron Murphy was a high second-round pick coming out of Washington back in the day, and he never really got it together completely in Arizona. Had a couple of injuries, mainly a back issue last year, but looks to be good to go. And I mean, he's a little bit undersized, but he's super feisty on the outside, super mean in the slot as well. And I think that he would be a fantastic acquisition, as he said in year 5. And maybe he could be considered borderline elite down the line. Sure. Nicholas Soros. With surprisingly good depth players at both wide receiver and running back, do you think we'll sadly have to cut and watch them land on a different team? I don't know, cut per se. Maybe working out a small trade, which I think gets addressed in a question down the line. But I think the running back room is set. Yeah, with Madison, King Kane, Ty Chandler, Dwayne McBride. Receivers, probably 1, 2, 3, 4 is Jefferson, Addison, Osborne, Naylor. 5 is up in the air. But yeah, some guys are really rising up there. But I don't think that they're going to be letting go anyone who they'd be too upset if they gets picked up by someone else. Let's hear. Supercorp, if the Vikings and Lions are fighting for the division title for the next handful of years, do you think a healthy rivalry will develop between the team's fan bases? I mean, maybe. But I feel like even when the Lions were like quasi-good during the Barry Sanders years, I never felt like it was a true rivalry in the sense of like Vikings-Packers and maybe even Vikings-Bears to a degree. But I don't know. It just never... was always a little bit nonchalant about Lions fans, but maybe if both are good and both are going back and forth at the same time, maybe. David Hill, I think it is do or die time with public sentiment to get Harrison Smith into the Hall of Fame. As such, I think we should start pushing a soft rebrand, call him Hall of Fame Harrison or something like that. And I think this will take a concerted effort from the Jeromes. Thoughts? I mean, yeah, a little bit of a grassroots campaign going on for what? HOF Harry or something like that, but it really does start and end with the AP writers and voters. It's just so stupid. The writers that kept him off the All-Pro teams as well as the 2010s All-Decade team, I mean, they make up a large portion of the Hall of Fame voting. So, I mean, we could do all the marketing we want. Maybe it doesn't matter at the end of the day. Adam Root, how much playing time do you think Ty Chandler will get this season? Also, we'll host a fantasy league with subscribers. I do think that Ty Chandler will get some third down work. I think he'll be in the mix too as a returner potentially, depending what happens with King Kene, and also host a fantasy league. I think we did one last year. I wasn't in it, but someone organized it. Maybe we could do that again this year, or maybe we could do like a survivor pool. Maybe that makes more sense since, you know, fantasy leagues, you can only have X number of people. Actually, that does make more sense. Maybe we'll do a Jerome-wide survivor pool. Drew Farrell. Do you see Addison or Hawkinson having more yards this year? Hawkinson. I think Hawkinson's going to go over 1K. Addison, I mean, Addison's going to get his, but I think KJ is going to certainly also get some stats too. Tyler, still can't believe you were sent to YouTube jail a few years ago. Yeah, that was funny too. So, yeah, we got a community strike for like hate speech. Pretty sure it was just a bunch of Packers fans reported us for stupid reasons. I don't know, man. Tori Hansen, who is your dark horse to have a fantastic year? Jalen Naylor is up there. Joejuan Williams is up there. Dean Lowry could be up there too. Asazio Otomowo. Yeah. Eric Anderson. Who are some potential cut candidates around the league that the Vikings could keep an eye on? I mean, there's too many names to watch. I mean, maybe the Niners cut bait with Trey Lance. That'd be pretty sweet. John Anderson TV. How deadly will the Caleb Williams Justin Jefferson connection be? We knew Kwesi will make it happen. Deadly. Just, I mean, Caleb Williams with JJ, the best receiver in the game. Caleb Williams, the best young quarterback in the game. Also, his connection with Jordan Addison going way back to USC. I love it. Jack M., what is your prediction for potential trades off the current rooster? Maybe Kene. Like, if Chandler and McBride prove their worth, maybe Kwesi tries to get something for the best kick returner in the game. Also, Kene wasn't a Kwesi draft pick, but Chandler and DeWayne McBride were, so that does factor in. Jalen Reagor, maybe, especially since his fourth-year salary is guaranteed. Maybe Booth, if he's the odd man out at cornerback, who knows. Eric Peters, have you thought of doing a 100K special when you reach it? Yes. Actually, we should do a special at 69K because that would be funny, man. Nice. Miles, do you think Jaren Hall or Nick Mullins could have 80% of the success Keenum had in a Magic Carpet ride? Mullins, sure. Maybe not Jaren Hall this year, maybe next year, sort of deal. Although, I do like Jaren Hall so far, man. I really do. I think the kid's got a good head on his shoulders. I think he's got a strong arm. I think that he will operate within the offense. He takes care of the football. I like him a lot. Zaragoza, still waiting for that Minneapolis Miracle reaction vid. It's out there somewhere. We'll get it together. Carl Gerbschmidt, hypothetical question. If Kirk signs with us for 2 or 3 more years, say Kirk is first in the majority of Vikings quarterback records, would he ever be thought of as a Ring of Honor candidate? Otherwise, does he have to win some playoff games, or the only way he bring us a Jerome Barty trophy? I think Kirk has to bring in some hardware, or at least like a Super Bowl appearance, because stats-wise, I mean, Tommy Kramer isn't in the Ring of Honor, even though he did some great numbers. Dante, not in the Ring of Honor. And, Kirk, even though he'll put up some good numbers for the next couple of years if he's here, I mean, hasn't quite done it yet. Ian F., is Metellus the next Jaren Curse? Yeah, on the field, not off the field. Maybe. I think Metellus... people forget Jaren was a special teams captain as well under the Zimmer regime. I think Metellus is a little bit more talented than Jaren. I think that he's going to show it this year. And I think that just anecdotally, I think Metellus is a true leader out there too. Yeah. Frost Wolf, would you rather have Prime Harrison Smith back or Daniel Hunter to be healthy for the rest of his career? We also keep him. I'm going to go with Daniil healthy for the rest of his career because I think Daniil has about 4 to 5 years left of his prime. Even though Harrison Smith at his peak was the best safety in the game. Like, how long do we get him? Is it a complete reset? But also, I like the safety depth that the Vikings have right now versus the edge depth. Clint Ressig. Is it realistically possible for the defense to be top 10 in 2023? I guess it's possible. But also, I don't think that they necessarily have to be. Like, if they end up, top 16, top 17-ish, like top half of the league, we'll be ecstatic for that, and then go from there. Nickason, can you bring back segments where you compare Vikings players to Minnesota restaurants, Skull Vikes? No. Maybe. The average Arles Gamer, do you think JJ will break the receiving record this year? Yes. I think that he will break the Megatron 1964 number. I think he'll go for 2K. Go from there. Todd Haysbrook, if you could add any player during the Zimmer era to the current team, who would you choose? Any player from the Zimmer era, so 2014 to 2021. I would add. I was gonna say like 2015 Adrian. That was okay. I mean, Zimmer never really had any good offensive linemen. That's rough. Like 2017 Diggs? Nah. Defensive. 2017 Rhodes. That's easy. There you go. Miles, 4270. You traded Daniil and Marcus Davenport is abducted by aliens in week 5. How do you feel about the season now? Their arrows blot out the sun. We'll fight in the shade. We'll just have to score 60 while we give up 50. The anonymous one. Who's your surprise camp cut? Surprise camp cut. Say maybe Jalen Reagor. Maybe King Kene for the reasons listed before. Maybe a guy like Chris Reed. Sure. Defensively, I guess Bullard, except I guess that wouldn't be too shocking. Jordan Hicks, although I don't see that happening, but Jordan Hicks. Bynum, I guess that would be a little bit shocking. There you go. D. Knowles, bar and grills you recommend around downtown Minneapolis. So downtown, like near Target Field and Target Center. I'm always a big fan of Glick's. Get yourself the tower of beer. The food is pretty good too. I like, if you're down in Nicollet, I like Brits and the Local. The Local's fantastic, man. Also, Brits has gatherings for soccer games, so that's kind of fun. Sneaky Pete's, a little bit more towards Target Center. Cuzzy's. Cuzzy's is really good. It's like a dive bar. It's fantastic. The burgers are really good too. Also, Parlor Burger. Yeah. Cowboy Jack. No. Next. Speaking of Cowboy. Johan, most promising young cornerback on the rooster right now, Evans, Booth, or Blackman? Blackman. Although, I mean, Evans showed flashes last year. I do think that Mekhi Blackman just has a chance to be an alpha, man. Luke Stock, Jerome meetup before the preseason game, Seattle? Yes. We're ironing out the details right now. We may be meeting up and doing some content at a place called Petoskey's, which is in Fremont, which is a Minnesota sports-themed bar in Seattle, I guess. Online alias, favorite cowboy boot brand. I only have one brand of one cowboy boots, one pair of cowboy boots. I don't know what the brand is, so whatever that is. MK, do you know Nikki? I think you should give her a shout out. So Nikki Covington, infamous comments, fantastic. Shout out to Nikki, super fan, love it. Dan Trimbath, am I the only one who kind of gets Percy Harvin feelings about Jordan Addison, like on the field or off the field? Because Harvin with his migraine stuff, he didn't really. Other than that, like he was good to go. And then it came out that Percy was having sleeping issues and mental health issues, and I don't get that vibe with Addison. But on the field, I mean, Percy on the field, man. Like Percy was Debo before Debo Samuel. Percy was really good, man. But stylistically, two different players. Kyle Gerger, whatever happened to preseason superstar T.Y. McGill? He's on the Niners. T-Rag, if Scene doesn't start this year, is he officially a bust? I'd say moving to linebacker, God knows, we could use some depth there. Not necessarily. I think that there's a plan at safety, Harrison, Beasley, and Metellus. You could say, like, well, how come Beasley's starting over at Lewis Scene? They're two different safeties. Same thing with Scene and Metellus. I think Scene was drafted to be Harrison's replacement. And his injury last year put a pause on that. If Scene stayed healthy last year and then got on the field and performed well, I think the Vikings actually part ways with Harrison this offseason. I really do. And then, user, what is the one game or play watching a Vikings game that made you love this team as a kid? I guess Randy Moss Thanksgiving. Three touches, like $163 and 3 touchdowns. Also had the 2-point conversion. Also, do your kids like the Vikings? My kids give 2 hoots about sports right now, but we'll see. Well, I guess the girl likes Liverpool. She likes watching soccer with me. If they don't, are you going to make them be? You like what you like. I'm not going to force fandom on them, especially one that comes with so much pain. I won't let them be Packers or Saints fans or Jets fans. There you go. Blake Kettler. If you could take any Vikings player from the 09 Favre year, who would it be outside of the who would it be? Hutchinson. Hutch, Winfield. That's slightly before Everson was. Jared Allen. Yeah. Do you think any Minnesota team could win their respective championship anytime soon? Vikings, yes. Surprisingly, the Wolves. I mean, the Wolves gave the Nuggets their most difficult series, and the West is a little bit open. Yeah. I run a Vikings page with about 13K people. Love sharing things you post because you actually know what you talk about. Thank you. Could you help figure out how much cap savings we have by creating? So Dalvin, Madison, Thielen, Addison, Kendricks, Asamoah, Patrick P. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but a lot. Skull from Oklahoma. Boomer Sooner, or what was it, Gig'em? Go Pokes. There you go. What is Gig'em? Is that A&M? Michael Hastery. Would you personally trade Cousins? Cousins voids his no trade clause. And Daniil Hunter to the Bengals for 2 first-round draft picks? No. I mean, well, the Bengals, even with Cousins, Burrow's going to miss some time. He may not even miss any regular season, but, I mean, those are going to be late first-round picks anyway, so no. Virtue, come on. Is it time to call Booth a bust? He's getting torched out there. Well, he's running with the twos. You can't have press man. There's no pass rush. There's no pads. I'm not putting a lot of stock into it right now. Noble War Prize. Does Jalen Naylor make the 53? Yes, I think he's wide receiver 4. Meet Souse. Jaren Hall, the Mormon missile, future starter. I mean, he's playing his way into contention. I'm not ready to say that he's the guy, but I'm not ready to say he's not the guy. Merkel, would you take the deal? Vikings win the Super Bowl, but you have to be vegan for a year. Yeah, I could do that. I will take that one for the team. We'll do that. I'll just eat a lot of falafel. Actually, I had an Impossible Burger on a flight, and it was actually really, really good. Like, here's the thing. So when they came out with the Impossible Burger, I think the marketing was all like holier than thou, and the business model ain't doing so good. But a lot of people point out, well, this isn't healthy. It's not really meant to be healthy. You know, doesn't matter. But I will miss beef. Come on, man. Carter, there's where does Kirk Cousins rank in your all-time quarterbacks? For the Vikings, 2. I think last year he just passed Dante, although Dante's 2004 season was legit. Duke of Awesomeness, Daniil or Harrison? Like all-time careers for a Viking, Harrison. But right now, Daniil. There you go. Anyways, that's it. That is our Q&A for the week. Thanks, everyone, who submitted questions. You guys are the best. Skull, production value.